Coming up on this episode, who's your money on, Rich? Come on, put it on the line.
Well, yeah, I mean, we sort of had a little chat about this in the group, didn't we, last night, and I put my money firmly behind.
Who do you think Rich is backing for the DBF Pokal Cup? Listen on to find out. Hello, welcome to the DraftCast. This week we have Richard Price back. We're going to look at Gameweek 34 and how we think the DBF Pokal Cup will go. Rich is going to show us how he creates the manager avatars. Before we do that though, please remember to subscribe and like the video. It really does help us out a lot. So Rich, how are things?
Hello, Luke. Nice to be back. Nice to talk to you again on the pod.
Yeah.
Things are good in life, I guess, or never good in my team, just lately. But it's kind of a fun battle at the bottom. It closes up, it opens up, and then it closes up again. So
Yeah.
It's
interesting. We're all looking on with great interest. I don't know what we're more interested in, the bottom or the top.
Yeah, well, I know which one I'm more interested in there, but it's certainly not my battle. Unless there is actually a wooden spoon up for grabs here, then I would like to win something to have something for the to show for the season.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure. I can't remember.
I guess we'll find out. I can't remember there being one last year, but yeah, well, maybe there will be one this year.
Either way, I'm sure you will enjoy the battle to the end, and it looks like I'm joining you too as well. So.
Well, I'm not gonna bring that up, Luke, because you got very, very sort of tense with me the other night after I made such a small comment. But
it's fine.
We'll let that lie.
Yeah, I'm that meme. It's fine. Everything's on fire around me. Like I've already mentioned this week, we're gonna take a look at Gameweek 34. I'm going to start with the fixtures. So I'll ask you what I've been asking others. Of the fixtures for this game week coming, which would you most likely go, I'm going to watch that game because it looks like a good game?
Well, obviously I'm a Man United fan, and there doesn't really get much of a bigger game for Man United than Liverpool. So I'd be tempted to say Man United Liverpool, but as has been the case with sort of Man United playing the big teams this season or in recent seasons, it tends to be a little bit of a snooze fest sometimes. Like they tend to just cancel each other out, and it's not a very high scoring match. Occasionally you'll have a sort of a big result, maybe like winning against City, sort of out of the blue or whatever. But yeah, I mean, on paper that would be the one that I'd definitely tune in for. But like I say, it's not guaranteed. But like looking at it here, I'd say after Burnley's sort of 4-0 win at the weekend, and sort of West Ham's recent sort of I can't find the right word. You'll have to edit this out, Luke. After like West Ham's dominance in the league recently, I think that'll be quite a good game. Like if Burnley taking that same sort of enthusiasm for the football that they had in the last game, I can see that being quite an interesting game.
That's one of the ones I had my eye on, to be fair.
Also, I've got sort of a couple of West Ham players as well, so it's obviously a vested interest in that game also.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm curious. Obviously, I'm going to be watching the Saints game, but I'm curious about the Everton Villa game. I'm curious because I don't think Everton are on the best of streaks, and Villa are obviously, they're not themselves compared to what they were before Christmas. So I'm wondering if they're both going to sort of, rather than cancel each other out, they're both going to end up scoring loads against each other.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but that could be an interesting one. But I think you're right. The Burnley-West Ham game is curious, I would say, because they're both on a bit of good form.
Yeah.
But all the others are a bit, I don't know. I mean, the Brighton-Leeds game might be a bit back and forth. Brighton have on a fairly decent run they can pull it out the bag, but then Leeds again. You never know with Bamford. Sometimes he's on point, and then other times he just can't finish, can he? So it'd be interesting.
Got West Midlands derby, Wolves v West Brom, which, well, if fans are in the stadium, would get quite lively, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't sort of. It's well, last season you wouldn't be saying this at all, but like I don't fancy Wolves' chances at the minute. West Brom seem to be able to score a few goals like every game, just in recent games.
Yeah.
And Wolves are obviously going through a very bad period. So I mean, like I say, I don't hold out much hope for Wolves in that game. But might be maybe the occasion will inspire Wolves to bring out the best football. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. So we'll keeping on the Game Week 34 theme. Are there any players you've got your eye on this week who you think, they could be on for a really good week? And we tried to do this in the past. We tried to do a player prediction on early episodes of the DraftCast, and we've not done it for a while. So I thought I'd bring it back. So who do you think is going to be game player of the week for Game Week 34?
Well, I've never had much success in predicting players or teams of the week when we've done it in the past. Even when I've sort of tried to play along with other people's podcasts, it never goes to plan, and it's never the player that I pick. So I'm going to try something different and try and get a bit of pod luck for Will in the oncoming cup final, and I'm going to predict that Thomas Souček for West Ham is going to have an absolutely blinding game against Burnley and bag maybe a goal, maybe two, maybe assist, and that'll be big points for Will and Gareth Northgate. So that is my prediction that Thomas Souček is going to be man of the week.
Interesting. Yeah, that's going to be, like you said, that's one of the games we've got our eye on. So yeah, you're right. He could definitely be involved with any goals that are being scored.
Yeah, he's been a bit quiet lately, but maybe it's his time. Maybe this week is the week where he's going to step it up for Will.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he's hoping. But we'll get onto that in a bit. I've got two in mind, and one you'd be happy to is probably Pereira, who you've got for West Brom.
Ooh.
He's top of the form chart at the moment on the Fantasy Draft website. So you've clearly got a good player there.
Well, don't say that out loud, because we'll just sort of latch onto that.
Yeah. So he's one. And then I also think Iheanacho for Leicester. He's been on some good form. He's been scoring a lot recently. And although I don't want him to be scoring in the Saints game, I don't think if he's playing like he has been recently, then I don't think we'll have a chance. Yeah, either of them I reckon could be up there.
Both great shouts, I think. Especially Pereira, I didn't think of that.
But as always, like you said, nobody ever had much luck guessing these. I think there was always a bit more pod luck with just being on the pod, wasn't it? Everyone would be on, and then that's the week they'd have a good week. So maybe you'll get that, and you'll end up outscoring both of our cup finalists. That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Especially if it was Pereira who was the reason for doing it as well, and given the sort of, what do you call it, the scandal behind that trade, it would be quite hilarious.
You're definitely getting your own back, that's for sure. So, we've mentioned it a bit already. The Pokal Cup.
Yeah.
Two
Got
finalists.
it not to be in the final.
Yeah. Jack and Will. Literally, probably the biggest rivalry within our draft league.
Yeah.
So this is it is pretty much the final we all wanted. Although all of us that got knocked out obviously wanted to be there. So, who's your money on, Rich? Come on, put it on the line.
Well, yeah, I mean, we sort of had a little chat about this in the group, didn't we, last night? And I put my money firmly behind Will and Gareth Northgate. I think it's probably agreed amongst everyone that he's probably the underdog going into this game, or into this game week rather. But that's why I've got to support him, just because I love an underdog story, and I mean I love Jack's confidence in his team and in his management and stuff like that. It's great to see from his videos and stuff. But yeah, like it'd be great to see him in second place again.
I don't know if I could sit through another awards evening of them just battering Jack. It was so cringy, I thought, but yeah. I'm going the opposite to you. I think it's Jack. It is. I think you're right. It's Jack's to lose. He's probably the favoured, but not by much. I think there's a bit of murmurs, isn't there? And everyone's kind of always Kane going to get rested against Sheffield, because it's Sheffield. The key, isn't it? And again, Penandes hasn't been firing on all cylinders recently. And like you say, with the Liverpool game, they might just be a bit of a bore fest. So neither Cavani or Penandes could do much. Whereas, and then I think but then again, Jack's also got 2 Liverpool players. So, that could sort of level each other out. So it comes down to these other games. Wood's been scoring well for Jack recently. Is he going to be able to do that against West Ham? I don't know. I think both teams have potential elsewhere. Although yeah, it is interesting. It's going to be a good one. I know it's going to be a good one. It's just whether it's going to come down to be as close as the El Presidente Cup was.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be great if it went down to the very last game, yours almost went down to the last minute, didn't it? Or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. They both got players in that last game, so yeah, it's going to be. Actually, has they have, haven't they? Both, Wood and Souček. Yeah, Souček.
So my prediction of Souček could be quite important then.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that could be if he ends up being the decider, Will owes you a pint or two.
Well, he owes me more than that for Penandes. So.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Comment down below who you think is going to win.
Yeah, I think Jack will be unbearable if he does win. So I'm just hoping
both will be unbearable if they win.
That is true.
You got to pick the lesser of 2 evils here, surely.
Yeah, that is true.
No,
but Jack potentially doing the double though. I mean, Jack's in a very good position in the league as well.
Yeah.
Sort of Will seems to have not dropped off, but he's a little bit behind those guys now. Like the potential of a double for the season would be a huge achievement.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if Tom can fend him off.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Tom's got enough in his sack to fend him off.
Wow, what have we got? Is it 4 or 5 game weeks left?
Yeah, I think it's about that, isn't it? It's gone fast.
It has gone fast, you're right. Well, the whole year's gone fast, hasn't it, to be fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, those are our predictions, and we'll let you know next time who the winner was and who predicted correctly. So, Rich, let's do your segment, and I'll let you do a little introduction.
So, this week's segment is going to look at the creation of the avatars that I did in conjunction with yourself for the podcast.
Interesting. I'm looking forward to this.
So, start off. This reference might go over a few of the guys' heads in the group as they're a bit young, but for those who know, they know. But anyway, so yeah, the joy of avatars with me. Bruno Penandes. So how did it all start? So one night I was watching Match of the Day, and I think you popped into my DMs sort of, and we had a brief conversation about how, like, ways how we could improve the pod visually. And I was nitpicking really because I couldn't really pick too many faults of it, and I nitpicked a few different things with extending screen backgrounds and stuff like that, and we kind of agreed that it was kind of nitpicking. We didn't really need to do it or anything like that. And then you suggested or requested the creation of the avatars, or you inquired on whether I could do it as as a creative sort of person. And I must admit, at first, I wasn't really keen on the job, just because I'd never done anything like that before. It's not really in my wheelhouse to do that kind of design work, I guess. I was bricking it a bit, and obviously, you don't want to do something that's going to make yourself look bad, I guess.
Well, you've knocked it out of the park. I guess the style's a bit more, could you say, like comic book, cartoony to what you normally do?
Yeah, like massively. Yeah, like I generally do like either photo reel or sort of dramatic renderings of what I do, I guess. Whereas this is like completely different, and it's like people as well, and people are always difficult because of likenesses and stuff like that. So yeah, I was really worried. Like I kind of had an idea going forward, like in our conversation and stuff, like what I wanted to do, but yeah, executing it was going to be the next thing. So like in my head, I was just like, I'm sure, like I remember seeing some sort of avatars in early podcasts and stuff like that. So I thought, I'll go back and look at the competition. So this was a little bit of time to assess the competition. There is in episode 8 appeared these two sort of animated avatars of you, both very different looking.
Well, do you remember who drew the one on the right?
Well, this is it. I can't remember who did either of them. So I was assuming James did one.
Yeah, James did the one on the right, and then the one on the left is a photo turned into a caricature, if you like. Using I think it's one of the Adobe software. It can like creates a filter on top of your photo to like animate it. It was just following a YouTube video guide, and then doing the whole like being able to move all the limbs and everything, which was interesting to learn. But I think when I was doing it, I was like, long term, this just isn't sustainable because I'm not going to be able to turn this round for every video. So that's why I was like, a static image suits me much better.
Well, it's funny you say that, actually, because that was the first thing that entered my head. Like, I thought, there's got to be some sort of app or filter in Photoshop that I can use to, like, create, like, a caricature of someone's photo or something like that. And I messed around with a few different things, and they just looked like, in my opinion, they looked awful. Like, I was like, I cannot show that. So I had to figure out, like, a new method. And this is kind of, like, how it started, I guess. So, like, that on the left is the first sketch that I did. Well, it's the first and only sketch that I did on that Sunday night watching Match of the Day too. After speaking to you, so that the idea was, the original idea anyway was, well, I think we both wanted it to incorporate the DraftCast roundel in some sort of way, and each person have like a unique thing. So like I thought, what's the easiest and simplest way? So the original idea was that everyone would have the same pose, and the little thing on the right hand side that they hold would be unique to the person, and then obviously each person would have their draft shirt on and stuff like that, and their own face, and then obviously like little influences like the Premier League badge that goes on the sleeve, the shirts, like for the text that goes around, that's where the text came from. And yeah, that was the initial sketch, and Will was actually the first one that we did as like a little bit of a trial. So I think it was like it was Will, you, and Tolly were the first three that I did to see how whether I could get like a system or whether I could actually sort of produce something that we were both happy with. So yeah, that's kind of where it came from, and this is kind of how it goes together. So we obviously start with the DraftCast roundel, and then I usually start with like a quick sketch. So I collect a bit of like some influence images. So we've obviously this is James's one. We obviously wanted to go down the idea of the King Jim Un, is it?
Yeah.
That he named the group and make him into this self-proclaimed dictator sort of version of himself. So obviously that's the actual picture that I use to do the face. And then obviously, I think a couple of days or the weekend before, like Jim had shaved his eyebrow off on his stag do, so I thought, I've got to get that in there somewhere. And then obviously references of like Kim Jong Un's hair and his little suit that he wears.
Yeah.
And he's always sort of pictured with like flags behind him or something like that. So these are all like little things that we thought, this is what we need to get into this image. So yeah, this is like the base sketch, just like like mapping things out. And usually at this point, I'd send it to you and sort of say like, before I go any further, like, how do you think of, like, what do you think of this? And like, you might say like, like, this is cool, like, change this, or like, what about we could do this and this, and then we'll have a bit of a back and forth at this stage, and then like finally agree on like a direction to go with each one. So yeah, moving on, I tend to do like an outline. So I outline everything, and I use like different thicknesses of. I've got certain thicknesses anyway that I use for like weights of the lines. So the outer lines are thicker. Then as you go in, all the lines go to a certain thickness, and like it's a way of me being able to like replicate it like quickly, and like so they all look the same. So I remember that like the outline is like 20, like size 20 on my brush setting and stuff like that, and it just means that they all look the same and that I can replicate them quite quickly. So yeah, I mean, I just outline everything and start to pick up the like just lines, so like eye lines, like key sort of wrinkle lines. I mean, I got a bit of criticism for Wells, I think, for making him look too tired, but I was only picking up what was in the image in my defense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I start off with the block colors first and the outline, and then I go in as like a secondary pass, just to add a bit of depth to the image. So I think on this one, I just added sort of shadow lines rather than highlight lines. I think in some of the later ones, I started to add some highlights as well to the face. But yeah, this just adds a bit of depth, a bit of 3D-ness to the image, and then add details like hair and beards, and obviously there Jim's missing an eyebrow.
Yeah.
And then start going the next level of detail, which is the eyes and the mouths. Yeah, they're just all built up in layers. So I start off with a white layer, then just build the eyes in layers, so all the different colours are a different layer, but I usually sort of compact it down into just one. But yeah, putting a bit of depth in the teeth as well, just to make it look a bit more sort of dimensional.
Yeah.
And then then we're just once the main sort of body and face is done, it's just adding the unique detail to this. So I wanted a flag in the image, and like all the other managers have their shirt, so I obviously wanted to get Jim's shirt colors like somewhere in the image, and we played around early on with like having the Kim Jong Un suit but like in the colors of Jim's shirt, and it just didn't really work. It just looked a bit weird and awkward.
Yeah, it looked like a fat tracksuit sort of thing, didn't it?
Yeah. So I think it's your suggestion actually to get the flag in there. So we got the flag in there, and weirdly, the North Korean flag is not too dissimilar to the colours and the pattern on Jim's actual draft shirt. So
yeah. We were a bit worried, weren't we?
Yeah.
We were going to get attacked by North Korea for using their flag.
Yeah. So yeah, this was just sort of adding sort of the last details, like the little Supreme Leader badge, because obviously all the draft council have their badges, the chairman and the vice chairman and stuff like that. So just make it a little bit more draft related.
Yeah.
And then the sort of final stage is just adding the text really. So the Emil Pesky in his little logo, which is the logo off his shirt, and yeah, the name. Usually it's the name of the team, but in this case we just had to go with King Jim on to sell the theme. But yeah, that's basically how they're all constructed. Some take longer than others. Like, so this one was a bit of a break away from the original mold, because a lot of them I can reuse a lot of the lines, like the core sort of lines, like in the body and stuff, and just add different arms and stuff like that. So the ones that prescribe to that template are actually a little bit quicker. But like for these ones, like I think Adam had quite a unique one, and I think mine was a bit different as well. So they obviously take a little bit longer. So they take anywhere from sort of 2 to 3 hours, I'd say. Like it's longer than you think, but yeah, I really enjoy doing them, and like the idea, throwing ideas back and forth with you, and like we get a little bit excited sometimes, like especially when no one had seen them.
Yeah, and
we were doing them in the background, weren't we? And like obviously when we get into like things like this one, like the Kim Jim On one, and different ones, we were just having a bit of a laugh with like how they were coming out.
Yeah.
But yeah, there they are. They're the 10 that we've done so far, in order of when they were done as well. So this is the order that they came out. So yeah, I think it's something to build on for next season. I'm fully up for doing some new ones for next season, like keeping them up to date and stuff like that. Like maybe the winner, because that was the idea of the cup, is like whoever wins the cup in the draft will get that in their avatar next year.
Oh, that's a good, yeah.
So that was the idea with the cups. Whoever, if Tom wins, he'll, well, spoiler alert, he'll have that in his avatar.
Yeah, I like that, because then because like Lawrence has got the El Presidente Cup, so that one can be moved around, and then the DBF Pokal Cup will be added to whoever wins that. So that'll be a nice little addition to keep it fresh each year.
Yeah, and like I say, I enjoy doing it. It's quite fun coming up with ideas, like with you, and to give people a surprise, like make people laugh. So yeah, and of course the two new ones to add to the season.
Yeah,
I've done Max's, but without a shirt. So we just.
Oh, all right. I was going to say, I don't think I've seen the finished product of that one yet.
Yeah. I've still got to send it. Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, I've just got I'll get in touch with Adam or Ben to try and get a picture of Ben, because usually a lot of these start with me stalking Facebook profiles and Instagram profiles, especially in the beginning, because they were all secret. So I had to sort of like source the images. That's why Tolly's looks a bit like Tolly. Doesn't look a lot like Tolly, in my opinion. Like I feel bad for Tolly because he got the short end of the stick, because I weren't a lot of decent photos to pick from. Yeah, hopefully I can remedy that next season.
Yeah, well, there you go, guys. Next time, send Rich a photo that you want him to use.
It. Yeah, and next year we can take requests as well. Like I'm happy to try and incorporate anything within reason into your avatar.
Yeah, so, there's definitely some fun to be had with these, I think. So I'm going to ask you then, Rich, as the creator of these 10 avatars, which is your favourite?
So I don't know why, but the one I really wanted to do right from the start, when you asked me to do it, was Jack's. I don't know why. I just really, I had the idea straight away, like what I wanted to do for Jack, and I think Jack's kind of got like, it had like a face. I could imagine like how I wanted to do the face and stuff like that. For some reason, and like making like this sort of big sort of like Popeye character throwing his weight around in the draft and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like I couldn't, because he was so far down the order in the podcast, and obviously I needed to do them in order to get them out in time to get on the podcasts for that week or whatever. But yeah, he was so far down the order that all I think it was like, I can't wait to do that idea. But I had to wait so long to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna say Jax is my favorite, just for like the idea and the pose, and his little second place medal there from last year, like with his glinting.
Yeah.
And then I think closely followed by, like, it's got to be closely followed by James's and Adam's. Because I also, that's the other thing. So Adam actually had a different avatar for quite a long time. And we actually sent Adam 2 options to choose from. And because this one, it was like a bit of a late idea.
Yeah.
That we had to make him the sort of John Motson tribute avatar. But obviously it was perfect for Adam, and it just worked way better than the original one that we'd done for him.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll release that as a little sort of special edition. But yeah, in answer to your question, Jacks.
Yeah, they're all good, to be fair. They're all great. And I think, although I showed them, they're in the Welcome to the Managers video that I did a few weeks ago now. That's it now. We've gone through everybody. Everybody's been on the podcast with their avatar, as I've been doing them on the left side of the screen. So yours is the final one that we included on an individual podcast, shall we say?
Yeah.
So yeah,
we've come full circle.
Yeah. And all I can say is, well done, great work. They're absolutely great. And
no, it's well done to you as well, because you're also a massive part of like the idea process and like actually sort of coming up with the sort of incentive to do it. So
incentive? What incentive is that?
No,
you're making it out like I've paid you or something.
Oh, I wish you had. I would have charged a fortune for this. No, I meant like you initiated the process. So I mean, I wouldn't have done it off my own back through fear of sort of not living up to expectation. But yeah, it was your idea in the first place, wasn't it? So
I think all I really helped was sort of coming up with the different ideas and yeah, just trying to, like we say, trying to get what we thought would be the best uniqueness to each person's avatar. So I quite like Jim's and Adam's, but one of the other ones that always makes me laugh is George's. I think it just fits so well with his team name.
For some reason as well, George looks like so sort of cheekily sinister in the picture. Like the picture that I used, like as reference, like. It didn't look cheeky at all, but I don't know if it's because the axe is in his hand and stuff like that, but it just looks like sort of something out of The Shining or something like that.
Yeah, no, they're all great. And yeah, I think it's been good to see like how you build them up from using images and that initial, getting the body frame, because like I say, a lot of them use the same body frame, and then you just add the sort of different shirts and faces and all that to them. So it's really interesting to see how they build up, and I'm looking forward to seeing what ones we get next year. So, but I think we should also keep it a bit under wraps still. So we'll let people we'll let people sort of feed into them, with their own ideas a bit. But I don't think we should show them until they're back on the draft, onto the actual DraftCast episodes that they're in.
Yeah, I fully agree.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Max's and Ben's when you finish those. We've got a bit of time on those ones.
I've got some good ideas for Ben. Well,
that's what we like to hear.
I think they're good ideas anyway, but
I'm sure they will be.
So yeah, that's my segment for this week.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. I wish I had the ability to draw like that. It's really impressive, I think. And, people should go and check out your Instagram, because some of your other drawings that you've done, like you were saying about your photorealistic stuff is on there. And that's really worth checking out, I think. So,
yeah. That's a while ago now, but yeah. It's a little bit of a distraction from the day job, which is always welcome.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to have something, isn't it, to do in your free time. So thanks for doing that again, Rich. Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
We'll wrap it up there. And, best of luck to Jack and Will in the DBF Pokal Cup final in this game week. It's going to be really interesting to see how that ends up playing out and whether it's going to be close or not. But as a group, we're looking forward to it, and we'll keep everybody else up to date next time on who the winner is.
Up the North Gate.
So yeah, we'll leave it there. Thanks for coming on again, Rich. Great segment.
Thanks for having me. No problem. Always enjoy coming on the pod.
Yeah, this will be your last one for this season.
Yeah.
There's some plans for what we might do over the summer, but I won't say much more about that. Mainly because they're not fully thought out, but we'll see when we get there. And so yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. Please remember to subscribe and like the video. Leave some comments down below on what ideas you think we could do in the future, who you think might win the DBF Pokal Cup. And as always, this is the DraftCast, and remember, draft is life. See you next time.